You know the deal. So this next video it's one I think is necessary. It is titled "An Occultist is a Scientist," and what I do is relatively short. But what I do is go over or compare the way an occultist does work and how a scientist does work. I just compare the two sciences. When you think about it, magic is a science. You know what I mean? So um, I just compared the two, and out came this video. An occultist is a scientist. What I was trying to do was to let people know that it's not just the things that you see on the internet. You can Google any spell on the internet, any of them. You know what I'm saying? Because what I did was, and I do this often actually, someone who portrays themselves to be a witch or a sorcerer or something like that online, I'll get into a casual conversation. It's not that I'm trying to entrap her. I just, sometimes I'll be like, well, what can you do for a court case? You have any court case spells? And last person I did it to, said, okay, I'll look. Took about an hour or so before they got back to me. So I'm like, okay, what's taking so long? You know? And they showed me two spells. And I'm looking and I'm like, I can Google this. Guess what? I Googled it. And it was, because it's so prominent, you can really Google any spell or ritual online. And that has made people become very lackadaisical and lazy as far as the occult sciences are concerned. So anyway, um, there's just much more to it than that, but the advent of social media has made it this way. And so, with that being said, I hope you enjoy. An occultist is a scientist. Enjoy. Namaste. Welcome and greetings. I am Magick Croix. It's gonna stop a virus. No. This
got y'all listening now. Some witchcraft for that ass. Too late to turn away. Abracadabra and all that good shit. Yo. Hocus pocus got you focused on my rhyme. Simply easy, now I'm eating couch potatoes. My keys to go home.
Dora pause.
While rush to end it all, it feels amazing to have won. I'm not planning to ball, but why not take the chance to stunt? No, I don't need it all, can think of a thing I don't want. Do I worship the sun, or sold my soul for the tongue? Or death since I was young, or got some...
Namaste. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters, and welcome to another production from the Magical Elite Supply Shop, brought to you by the one and only Magick Croix. And today's topic, I want to talk about what an occultist is. Specifically, that an occultist is a scientist. Before I get into that, what I want to say right now is a word from my sponsors. I just heard some disturbing news on Facebook, but Facebook is always disturbing. It's become toxic. Anywho, I just heard some disturbing news on Facebook that a powerful occultist who's been teaching for years was attacked by some plurals. Now, I'm not going to say any names. I never say any names, but what the fuck is wrong with y'all? This is the reason other races win. It's because y'all so busy attacking other people, whether it's out of jealousy or whether y'all feel like they're giving out too many secrets. That's some bullshit. It's bullshit. Because while we out here attacking each other, we're getting attacked from everywhere else. Through TV, media, propaganda, magical attacks. Everything is against us, and then you want to have you simple-minded brothers attacking another brother because you disagree with him. Again, the fuck is wrong with y'all? It's the most retarded thing I have ever heard in my life. You gonna attack another brother and slow him down or totally fuck him up, and then that's one less brother we have to fight the battle with. Dora pause. Again, it's just really retarded that we're in the day and age where we need to stick together. We sitting here attacking each other. Caucasian occultists, they don't do that. They stick together no matter what. No matter what. It's been ingrained into them. So I kind of get it. But an occultist should be an enlightened person. If you have that kind of a mind state, you're not an occultist. You're somebody dabbling with magic. Just because you can do it don't mean you should. I've had disagreements with other occultists. I didn't go in a magical war with them. That's dumb. Magic will fuck you up worse than anything else can do on the fucking planet. Now, I don't usually apologize for my use of language and profanity, but this disturbs me as melanated people that we're still doing this bullshit. You gotta stop it. We need all our soldiers on the front line. All of them. So, now that I'm gonna step off my soapbox, let's go into today's topic. I was about to say today's lecture like I'm Bobby Hemmett or something, but today's topic, what I want to talk about is an occultist as a scientist. There's a reason I say this. The reason I say this is because an occultist, such as myself, not ones who's just gonna look at your situation, take your money, and then apply something. No. An occultist has to listen. You have to listen, sort of like a therapist. Especially if it's a love working or issue, then you have to listen to the entire situation. And we true occultists do that. We look at a situation from every single possible angle. And I always tell my clients, does this happen? When did this happen? Or what happened here? And it's not that I'm being nosy. What I'm doing is gathering all pieces of information that I can, so that I can meditate on the issue and correctly assess the situation and correctly find which route with which system I'm going to go. So, don't scientists do that? Don't they look at formulas to see how to approach a situation, and they use those formulas to tweak it and get it right? Scientists do that. An occultist, I don't want to keep saying an occultist, so I'll just keep saying, there are some of us that may counter in moon phases. When I first started into the occult many years ago, moon phases were very important to me. It's gotten less important because if I need to do a situation, I'm not going to pay attention to what the moon phase is. However, there are certain situations where the moon phase may fit. But what I do is I do factor in planetary hours, because if you can't go by, say you want to do something that you want to build a relationship with somebody and the moon is waning, meaning it's going towards the new moon, then what you can do is, if you can't do it, and say it's on a Venus day is on a Friday, So if all this doesn't factor in, you can pay attention to the planetary hours. I have a planetary app on my phone that's very, very useful for me. There are some times, and one time recently, I had to do, let's just say, a negative working, and it wasn't a Saturday, which is a day of Saturn. So what I did, I waited to the hour of Saturn, and I used Saturn's sigils on the working that I had to do, and it was just as effective. So, also, we have to know all the situations so that we can see if something is properly aligned. I'll give you a situation. There was a woman that I were attracted to each other. I knew we were attracted to each other, and we were using, but we were working at the same place, and it was like a budding friendship. So I knew that everything was aligned there. So one Friday, I called on Pomajero and gave offerings, and the next thing you know, the very next day is she just casually said, "Oh, can you look at these pictures and tell me if they look right?" Didn't think nothing of it, and I might have quoted this before, but this is a perfect example of how things don't have to be perfectly aligned, but it does help it along. It helps the magic along. So I was like, sure. I didn't think anything of it, and next thing I know, she was sending me pictures in lingerie, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so it kind of went from there. So enough of that story. And I always tell people, I don't give a time frame for magic to start working, but if it's perfectly aligned, it's going to happen like a day or two. If things are not set up correctly, then it may take 3 to 21 days. That's the time frame that I always give. People like myself are constantly researching, constantly studying. Isn't that what scientists do? They don't stop being the scientists that they are. They're constantly reading. Just like a lawyer still goes back to books when they need to know something. I go back to books every day. Not one day goes by where I'm not reading something on magic or I'm researching. Even if I don't have clients, I'm still researching and studying. It's a constant thing. In order to get to that point, you have to constantly study. It amazes me that people don't like to read these days. But it is what it is. You got these phones where everybody's texting on them, and they're running after the fucking Pokemons, and nobody wants to read anymore. I got probably 21 books on my desktop as we speak. Just books that I'm constantly looking at. A true occultist will make use of every system that there is. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that you don't need to use one system and just keep going and then think you're an authority figure. It's not going to happen. A true occultist is a sponge. And I always tell people, be a sponge. Read on this, read on that. Practice, experiment, see what works, tweak what doesn't. But off the top of my head, 5 different systems: Goetia, Hoodoo, Clip Off, Necronomicon. All these I make use of. You don't have to be initiated into any system. You don't have to be initiated into any system. You don't have to be initiated into any system in order to make that system work. The spirits don't give a fuck how you come to them. As long as they get that Scooby snap, they're all good. Look at the recent passing of Dr. Seti. the man who was able to cure everything from AIDS to diabetes to cancer. He was never licensed. He was never licensed, and he was sued for administering medicine without a license. Only here do you have to have a license to fucking be. But that's another story for another time, which I will go into. Dr. Sebi has cured everything, and he was never licensed. An occultist is not licensed. But like I said, what we do is we constantly study, we constantly practice, constantly meditating, constantly spiritually cleansing our auras so that we can make use of every system that there is. That's all the time I got for today. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Come visit me at www.themagicalreleasesupplyshop.com for all your occult needs, for consultations, and for workings. This has been a Magick Croix production. I'll see y'all next time, y'all. I'm signing out. Peace.